No, that is true. It's right, but that's the lack of belief. Like atheists don't make sense. If you can't prove it and it's belief based, how can you disprove it? So anybody that claims to be an atheist, I, uh, I write them off.
Like I'll give you an example. A few days ago, I was on this channel called the Bro Joe Experience or something like that. And
Yeah.
there was an atheist on there who me and him were having a conversation, and he wanted me to do some type of like chart that he made up to prove that God doesn't exist. But the most ironic part about it is the same logic that he's using to say, oh, well, you can't see God, it's just a
Yeah. No,
uh,
exactly right. Yeah.
faith belief. But I called him out and said, well, wait, but your belief in, the universe beginning with a big bang 13.8 billion years ago, that's a religious belief. You have to have faith to believe that because no human was there to see it happen.
Yeah. No, you're right.
So that's a religious belief. You have to have faith to believe that happened.
Yeah. That's
So he
true.
got cut.
Yeah. Now, are you born again?
Born again. Well, here's where we would get into, the nitty gritty as far as the words go. I would say that I'm on the path to receiving salvation, but I wouldn't consider myself saved because salvation happens in the end times. Say, for instance, if you read Matthew 24, verse 13, it says, those that endure to the end are the same that will be saved. So I teach that salvation happens in the end times. It's not something that we have right now today.
Okay. How about deathbed repentance?
Deathbed repentance. I would say, um, I wouldn't say that I would subscribe to that, though I do see a few examples, at least one example in the Bible, such as that man on the cross next to Christ. He told him today he'd be with him in paradise. But that doesn't mean that they both went and are walking in heaven that day. It just simply meant that they both were going to rest together after they died, just like we see it talk about in the Old Testament. But that'll probably be a little bit too much to get into here. So yeah, I wouldn't say deathbed repentance is accepted among a vast majority of people. But of course, at the end of the day, God is the judge and he can decide to do what he wants. So I wouldn't say that in every instance, it doesn't count, but by vast majority, it wouldn't count. But God is in control at the end. That's what I'll say.
How about abortion?
Say that again. I didn't hear you.
Abortion.
Abortion, I would say it would be incorrect going by the Bible. Say, for instance, if you go to Exodus chapter 21, I believe it's verse 23 on down, but if you read Exodus 21, it talks about how if a man hurts a woman's child in her womb that it departs, you're supposed to take his life for taking the life of the child. So, off of that, I would say that abortion is not accepted as far as the Bible teaches.
Oh, okay. How about death penalty?
Death penalty, could you like say for instance, when you say that, do you mean like the penalty for sin, or do you mean like if somebody commits a crime and gets killed for it?
Yeah. Somebody
Oh,
commits a crime, gets killed for it.
yeah, I mean, we see that in the Bible. Like, say for instance, if a man finds out his wife committed adultery, right? She went out and slept with another man. She would get stoned according to the Bible for that. Or another example, if you kidnap a person and they find him alive in your hands, meaning what, that you kidnap him and they find him alive in captivity to you, then you would get killed for that. Or another one, murder, right? If you commit murder, you get killed for it. So yeah, I agree that in the death penalty for certain sins according to the Bible.
Oh, okay. There you go, Michelle.
What sins would you think that the death penalty would be sufficient for if you murdered somebody, like if you killed somebody?
Well, I gave a couple examples from the book, right? The Bible gives well, first of all, there's 613 laws in the Bible, but just to keep it simple, I gave the 3 examples about if you murder somebody, that's the death penalty. If you kidnap a person, that's the death penalty. Or if a woman commits adultery on her husband and he finds out, according to the Bible, she would get killed for that. So
Right
that's
on.
3 examples.
That's a great example.
Yeah,
Yeah.
hell, and that's running rampant out in this society today. I mean, hell, that's an understatement.
Yeah. How about divorce?
Divorce. Today you're able to get a divorce, but going back to the beginning, God wasn't okay with it. But since due to modern circumstances, it is now allowed that we see that in the New Testament.
What
But
would you say? What would you say would be a good, in God's eyes, a good reason to get a divorce? Like, what factor? Like, where you think that it would be okay in God's eyes? Why they do have divorces now?
well, the way I'll answer it, say for instance, right, in the modern time today, because obviously, say for instance, if you find your wife in bed with another man, you can't kill her because the government will kill you for that.
I would
Even
no
though the
way kill her.
Bible, right? So, say for instance, if you find out your woman's not obeying you or acting, with other men behind your back, that would be in today's day and age, you would get a divorce for that because obviously you can't kill the woman, so you would just get a divorce and move on. That would be a good example in modern day on
Or
how
if,
to handle.
or if maybe like the man's abusing the woman in any
Right,
way, like then the woman
right,
should be able to get a divorce if she
right. That's
jeopardy.
understandable.
I mean, there's reasons why I think divorce is just, and it even says there's even passages in the Bible about that, about how a man should treat a woman and how a woman should treat a man. So
Right, that's true.
Well, I thought my reason was valid. I got bored.
Well, according to the Bible, that would be sin. There, you're not allowed to
Yeah,
put
well,
away.
get in
Now,
line.
what you could do though, according to the Bible, you could get a second wife. Though you could
Oh
have
God,
two
why?
wives.
And that's a sin.
Oh my
That's got to be.
gosh.
Now there's a death penalty.
Wait, hold on. You said, which for the record, what I'm talking about is polygamy, right? One man with
Now
two
I
or
wouldn't
three
want that.
wives.
You know why? Ever since I watched that show on TV, I was thinking if you had like 4 or 5 wives, you'd have one, cheerleaders and strippers. It's not like that. If you look at those guys with the 6, 7 wives, most of them are fat, ugly, and I can't imagine that half of them even ever got a date. Now, dating one of those is out of the question, and you marry 7 of them? This guy's insane. They're all uglier than hell, and they
Yeah,
have like 40 kids.
right. I hear what you're saying.
I'm
So,
like,
say for instance, right, it's lawful according to the Bible to have more than one wife, but in today's day and age, it might not be a wise thing
oh,
to do.
yeah,
But it's
I don't
certainly
even think
not a
you
sin.
can. I don't even think it's really accepted amongst the Mormons, other than these fringe, groups that really aren't a part of.
Right. That I understand that, but again, a lot of these other groups, like the Mormons, Jehovah Witnesses, SDA, Catholic, a lot of those go off on certain things that they teach regarding the Bible. Right. So that would be one that I'd say they're in error on. First of all, a lot of them will tell you that even in the Old Testament, polygamy wasn't allowed. But I mean, that's easily refutable because even King Solomon had 700 wives. So unless they think Solomon was in
What
sin,
a, what a
that's
nightmare.
one good. I mean, hell, you could say that, but
Yeah.
yeah, that was a righteous man who did something like that.
How about homosexuality?
Yeah, I mean that's clearly condemned in the Bible. Romans the 1st chapter and Leviticus 20:13 give us guidelines on how to handle that. Another one similar to it would be bestiality, if you know what that
Oh,
is, right? A woman with an animal, that's
yeah.
also a sin unto death too. Both of those things, according to the Bible, would be a death penalty.
Oh, wow.
And anybody can read it themselves, right? Leviticus chapter 20, verse 13 to 15 deal with both of those subjects.
All right. Hear that, Michelle? You better just go to the one church. She's going to a church now where it's like a lot of lesbians, and they're which I don't have a problem with.
it's
What
the
is the
church.
denomination of that church, if you don't mind me asking?
It's a Christian church. It's the Church of Christ, and the other church is a Catholic church.
Okay. I mean, again, it doesn't shock me. Like even where I'm at right now, around New York area, there's even churches here that are flying the pride flag out. So again, it seems like agendas like this, as we in the truth community would call them, these churches are accepting them, right? And they'll push them out among the people. And it's weird today because if you speak against it, you're considered to be anti-Christ-like. But years ago, when I was growing up, it used to be completely opposite.
Oh, yeah. Well, I think you got a pretty pragmatic attitude toward it all compared to a lot of these what I'd consider like Baptists. You know, they don't think they can lose their salvation once they get it.
Oh, right, right. I'm familiar with a lot of these. You know, a lot of them believe in something called once saved, always saved. They
Yeah,
believe that once.
Baptist, that's right.
Right, right. So, say for instance, right. So they believe that if you become a Christian for like 2 years and then you leave the faith and even worship the devil, they'll
Right.
still be saved,
Yeah.
which is just completely ridiculous and makes no sense for anybody who actually reads the Bible. Clearly, that's not true.
Yeah. I think it's weird too. And what about no original texts of the New Testament ever found?
No, no original text in the New Testament ever being found. What do you
Well,
clarify
compared
that?
to the Dead Sea Scrolls, the Old Testament that they had proof of.
Well, I would say the Old Testament that's way older than the New Testament because the New Testament is made up of epistles written by the apostles, the church, certain congregations of believers among the different lands. Right, that's what the New Testament is made up of epistles compared to the Old Testament, which was manuscripts given down, which are much older than the New Testament.
Right, but wouldn't it seem like that some of the New Testament fragments should have made it somewhere along the way? Somebody would
I
have found
mean, even if they did, like say for instance, right, the Library of Alexandria, maybe in there could have been some of this information about like New Testament, but we wouldn't have that information obviously because the whole theater was destroyed. So we wouldn't have that information in there regarding a lot of historical things.
right.
So that could have been an area where they might have had some information for us regarding it, but we won't know because it was totally destroyed.
Oh, okay. All right. What about Apostle Paul maybe being gay?
I mean, you would have to show book, chapter, verse where he says that because based on my readings of Paul, everything that he taught was in line with the Bible. So somebody would have to show me book, chapter, verse where, like you know what I find
They
funny?
can't, but he didn't talk favorably about women, and he was always around guys.
Well, I'm not sure what you mean on that because Paul said that a man can marry a woman, right? And
Right.
he gave
Why
his
did he
advice
want them
on
to
marriage.
remain silent in the church?
Well, that was just the custom that people lived back then. Like, say, for instance, right, feminism today. This is a whole brand new thing. It started with this organization called Whole House, right? Whole House. You can look them up on Wikipedia. But back in the day, and this is not only among Israelite culture, many other cultures in the world, they had a patriarchy, right? Men were above the woman in those societies. It's only in the modern day time where we have men and women equal with one another. Matter of fact, the Apocrypha says a man's wife is his own possession. So the Bible calls woman property to a man, but that's not, people don't really like that in modern day terms. So that's why you might see some of these writings in the Bible that you would say speaks down on women, just to answer that.
Yeah. Yeah, they were asking for the name of your channel. We're going to get you some people. You said that YouTube shadows you. What do you mean by that?
What that means is like say for instance, right? I used to get 400 views on my live stream 2 years ago. Now I'll be lucky if I get 70 or 100. My videos used to get a few hundred views. Now I'll be lucky if they get 70 views. Because YouTube, certain channels that speak against them and things they don't like, they shadow ban the content to make sure it only goes out to a few, amount of people compared to what it usually would.
Oh, okay.
Let me grab a link for you. I'll put it in the back chat.
Yeah,
Give me a
no,
second.
somebody just posted one. I just posted it.
God,
Okay,
what's going
cool.
on?
Yeah. You need to join that, Michelle, and get some direction. She's in a confused state right now.
Yeah, I'm Ubering right now. Yep.
She doesn't know really where to go.
What's that?
You're just in a confused state with your Christianity.
Yeah, you can.
She wants to be rock solid.
Hold on. I'll be right back.
That's cool. Yeah, I'll definitely check it out too. Check your channel out.
Yeah, that's cool.
Glad you came up. We needed some religious advice.
Yeah, I
Well,
hear you, man. Go
well,
ahead.
well, you guys, I was waiting for an Uber, and a guy came up to me wanting to order an Uber, and I told him to order an Uber then.
Yeah, really. What a weirdo. Probably drunk.
He just came up to my car. He was like, "What are you doing?" Some guys were yelling at me, and then he tells me to order. Can I order an Uber? And I said, "Yeah, you can order an Uber. That's what I'm doing. I'm waiting for an order, anyways."
Hey, James.
Yeah.
You used to be Christian, didn't you?
No, never was.
So even as a young kid, just no religion?
No. I believed in God, but yeah, that's about it.
Okay.
I
It
did
was,
go to Unity Church for a couple of years, but I kind of stopped doing that.
Wait, could I ask you on that?
Yeah.
First you said that you didn't believe in like the Bible or stuff like that, but now you're saying for a few years you did go to the church. So like when
Yeah.
you went to the church, did you not believe in it, or like why did you go to the church if you didn't believe in the Bible?
we got a Jew
I
lawyer here.
believe that I was more kind of going down the route of like supporting all religions, supporting all people's paths, not just one. Just kind of being accepting of all religions, all faiths,
Yeah, somebody has
even
some feedback
atheism.
coming through theirs. Like, or were you talking
Yeah,
to
you know, he was talking and he said that he went to the Unity Church for a couple years, and you were saying, well, you must have believed in it.
Oh yeah, I remember. I was simply saying because he said he didn't believe in God or like the God of the Bible, right? So then he said I went to church for a couple of years. So I
Oh,
thought,
I
wait,
believe in God. I just don't really believe in the Bible.
right? But exactly, I'm saying. So why would you have went to church for a couple of years if you didn't believe in any of that stuff?
Because Unity Church doesn't really talk about the Bible. They 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 talk about like enjoying life, like loving each other, and just learning about like just enjoying life, living life to the fullest, and just accepting and appreciating everybody's uniquenesses,
Hey,
including
well, I'm
like each
happy
other's
for you.
faith.
Believe it or not, I'm happy for you that you don't go there anymore, man, because those people are teaching you nonsense at that church. Right, that church is nonsense, and all those are fake Christians that go there, and you can easily prove that based on what they're saying. That completely goes contradictory to the Bible.
Stephanie,
Huh?
you hear okay?
Oh, I can hear it just fine, Tom. Thank you.
Okay. All right.
I mean, Unity Church has helped me a lot. Like I used to be when I was younger. Well, I have autism, and I used to be really depressed. Like when I was younger. But when I learned about like Unity Church, it kind of helped me. It helped me be a happier person.
That's the
It
church
made me
that
realize that
Unity.
if you accept things and allow things, um, you you become less fearful, and you see life, you see beauty in life more. And I don't go to Unity Church anymore, but it was kind of a stepping stone. And
Oh, gotcha.
yeah, I've learned to kind of just love things more, and like appreciate the little things in life, appreciate
Right, I hear
nature,
you. I hear you. That's one teaching
the
I'll agree
vastness
with.
of the vastness of everything,
Right.
big and small.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I agree with you. That's one thing they're teaching, right? Hell, like I consider myself
Yeah.
to be more so of a minimalist, right? Hell, I don't need a whole lot, to keep me going in life. So that's one thing they'll say that I do agree with that church on.
Yeah. Hey,
Well, they don't really talk about minimalism. They just talk about just enjoying life. It could be
Right.
being minimalist is fine, but if you don't want to be a minimalist, that's fine too.
Right.
hey, now, Pastor, is your website or your channel talk about the Earth being flat?
Well, on my page, we deal with biblical cosmology and why I don't believe it's a salvation-based issue what somebody believes the Earth is. However, according to the cosmology of the Bible, it does teach a motionless Earth. What other people would consider a flat Earth, it does teach that in the Bible. But I don't think it's a salvation-based issue.
So does that mean unrelated to salvation, is it flat or not?
Well, I would say it is according to what the Bible teaches. As far as science, that would be another conversation. But as far as the text goes, that's what it teaches.
How about science?
Science? Well, talking about the science, it would depend on what topic you bring up about the science, because what a lot of people, when they think of science, they're thinking about what they were told in school, right? But they don't understand a lot of those things in these books were given down by the government, which wants control of our minds. They want to control how we think and the way we act.
Right.
I mean, would you agree with me on that? Because I mean, that's easily provable.
Yeah, well, that's true because Trump is controlling my mind.
Yeah, he's controlling my mind too. I want to vote for him. God damn it! Controlling my mind in ways that make me happy and make me feel like there's hope.
No, whatever makes you feel good. That's why you want the unity. I like that too.
But you know, I
The way you describe your
support
church
people
is
that want to vote for
I
Kamala.
went to every night of the week when I
Hold
was
on, I can't hear. I can't hear what's being asked.
Hey, Pastor.
Yes.
Do you think the Earth is round or flat? As an individual.
Well, the word round, the flat Earth model is round.
You know what I'm talking about? Balloon
Yes.
shape.
Okay.
Or piece
I
of plywood.
I believe that the world is flat, but it's a circular shape. It's not something you can fall off of.
like a dish. Oh wait, so
I mean,
it's like a
again, no disrespect,
like a plane that goes
but you don't know about a lot. Let me ask you a question, right? Because I'm very studied on the topic about geocentric. Do you guys know the difference between geocentric and heliocentric?
Not really.
Okay. Well, the geocentric basically means a world that doesn't move. A heliocentric is the globe model that we were all taught in school. Those are the terms they use to describe it. Now, does anybody know the distance of the sun from the Earth? And again, I'm going off of the school textbooks, 7th grade science textbooks here. Does anybody know the answer to that?
Like light years?
I don't remember.
Well, there isn't an exact distance. It changes as the Earth orbits slightly.
Because again, keep in mind, I'm just asking you guys because you guys are the ones who
actually,
believe
the Earth
these
is
things.
technically getting closer to the sun by a slight amount every year. Eventually, we're going to get so close to the sun that it's like when the sun gets bigger.
How about this? Do you think it's daylight somewhere now?
That's going to be a while from now.
Of course it is. Like I got a buddy down in Australia. It's about noontime there.
Oh, okay. So what makes it light and what makes it dark other than revolving?
Well, I'll answer the question, but I want to point out the very questions you guys are asking shows that you haven't looked into this model of the world. So maybe in your free time, you might want to check it out, even if you disagree with it, just so you know the positions.
I want to make sure exactly.
Right, I can explain. According to the flat Earth model, the sun and the moon, they rotate around the world and they're very close to the Earth. So while it's nighttime here on the other part of the world, it will be daytime over there because the sun and the moon are like spotlights. Their light that they emit does not travel forever. It terminates after a certain mileage away from them. So for part of the world, we're at nighttime. The other part of the world, they're at daytime. And then they'll revolve over the Earth. And then it will change. It'll be daytime here and nighttime there. That's a very basic example of how the flat Earth model works regarding the moon and the sun. Now, real quick, can somebody hold on? Can somebody answer that question for me? What is the distance of the sun?
So are you saying the sun?
No, hell no.
So you're saying the sun goes around the Earth?
Can you tell me how long the Mississippi River is?
Mississippi River. I've never looked it up, so I don't know.
2,350, but I just happen to have an interest in rivers. So just because we don't know the distances doesn't mean we're not.
Exactly.
Right.
How far is it?
Could you let me?
Jesus.
I'll answer it, but let me just clarify real quick. The whole reason I'm asking these basic globe beliefs is because, again, you guys all believe in it, but I'm demonstrating that you don't know the very basics about the model of the world that you believe in.
Are you saying the sun?
Well, maybe we don't. So what?
The Earth orbiting the sun.
Somebody asked me about the. I didn't hear the question asked.
Are you saying that the sun orbits the Earth?
Yes, according to the biblical cosmology, the sun and the moon, they revolve over the earth. The earth doesn't revolve around them. Like, I'll give you an example. Are you familiar with Joshua chapter 10 verse 12?
No.
Take
No.
that as a no. In the chapter, it talks about the sun and the moon coming to rest over certain valleys, and they did not go down for about a whole day. But the point is, if you read it, it says the sun stayed and the moon stayed, which would imply they are in motion. So from a biblical point of view, it teaches that the earth is stationary and the sun and the moon are the bodies in motion over the earth. And a lot of churches, going back to that, they don't know that, right? Like, hell, like, for analogy, they like put that in the drawer and haven't addressed it for like 400 years, because they all used to hundreds of years ago. They all taught that the world was flat. But now in the modern day, none of them really remember that. And the people there, they don't got a clue either. Hell, they're worshiping on Sunday, right? This worship of the Sunday. But that's a different conversation.
How about landing on the moon?
No, I don't believe anybody's landed to the moon.
Oh God.
How about
I
the
mean,
Do you
space
think
shuttle?
are you saying so you think the
It's a
footage is fake?
conspiracy. It was a conspiracy.
I mean, hey, he asked a question, not me.
How about the space shuttle?
Yeah, I believe space shuttles are real, but I don't believe they're going to distant planets. But I believe that NASA creates them. But notice, because I don't know about you guys on here, but I've actually seen the space launches of these rockets with my own eyes, because I used to be down in Florida, right? So they launch them down there. And if you notice, if you're there, they curve out, right? Because they launch them next to the ocean. So they
Yeah,
curve
it's
out.
incredible to see.
And what they do, eventually they just drop them into the ocean, and then nobody ever finds them because they break apart. But yeah, I agree the rockets are real, but they're not going to other planets.
Okay. Interesting. Well, see, this is how you
I
have
could
a
have swore I
discussion.
saw him land again.
Where's Kronka? Let's
I'm
see.
sorry, I didn't hear you.
She's asking me, did you ever had a TDO?
A TDL.
TDO, right, Pug? Microchip thing?
Oh no, I believe that's the mark, right? The microchip's the mark, but that's a totally different topic. But I don't buy into any of that stuff.
That's
No, hey,
starting to
no, no,
happen.
no,
Yeah.
no vaccines, no juices, as I call them, no tattoos, no lineups. I can't do any of those things because it goes against the scriptures. And that's a whole nother thing about me. A lot of churches, they don't really care. Hell, you can go to the church with a satanic tattoo. They don't really care. Hey, whatever you want to do, you do. But me, I'll tell you on the other hand, you have to keep the commandments. Christ taught to keep the commandments. So guess what? If somebody came into my church and they were, they had their beard shaven, or came in and brought, a damn, some type of tattoo on, right, that was satanic, hey, we kick them out. They're not allowed to be there like that. That goes against the scriptures.
People don't. I mean, I don't. I think it's just as good. I mean, you always kind of wonder what people look like, but it doesn't. I think I like voice a lot better than people typing.
Right.
Yeah, you're right on that. Like, say for instance, I host my own panel, and a
Yeah.
lot of cats in the comment section that like to talk smack and whatever. Whenever I drop a link for people to join, it's like, okay, if you disagree, that's fine to disagree, but why don't you click the link and we can have a friendly conversation about it? Like, why hide in the comment section and
No,
just keep
right.
posting comments? It's like, click the link and come up on here, and we'll just have a conversation.
Yeah.
It really pisses me off sometimes, people in the comment section. It's ridiculous.
Hey,
You ever
what's your
lose
name, brother?
Nathan.
Nathan. I'm Mark Nathan. Pleased to meet you. I was overhearing a little bit what you were saying about how what was it again? The moon and the sun rotate around the earth?
Yeah. Just for the audience to clarify again, I was saying that according to biblical cosmology, the sun and the moon rotate over the earth.
But now we got telescopes and we got people flying around in space that see that this isn't so. How do you
First, let's deal with the first thing you said. You said we have telescopes, so we know this is not so. So let me ask you questions. How is it these telescopes we have? How does that prove that we're like in motion? Like say for instance, I hear a lot of people say, they look through telescopes and seeing, Venus or Saturn at their circles. So that proves that we live on a circle. It's like, no, it doesn't prove that. Just because those are circles, it doesn't mean we, which for the record, even science claims that this is the only planet they know about that can harvest all this life forms on it. So it doesn't make sense to say that this place, Earth, is a circle based upon everything we see in the sky. That's not logical. Say, for instance, you wouldn't say that if you ever played pool, right? The balls on the table, those are circles. That doesn't mean the pool table is a ball itself. Of course not. So same with the Earth. Just because the sun, moon, stars, Venus, Mars, or whatever are circles doesn't mean that we're standing on one.
That's absurd. The Earth is an orb, though. I mean, it's
I mean,
proven.
but how do
We fly
you
around
know?
it in aircraft. We fly around it in airplanes. I mean, it's
Well, at what
undeniable.
altitude did you see the curvature, if you don't mind me asking?
Have I seen the curvature of the Earth? Yes.
Where'd you go to see it? From a mountaintop, an airplane, the beach? Where'd you go?
From what I've been on all of them, and the CN Tower. But from what I remember, from an airplane.
Okay. Do you know that world famous astrophysicist Neil deGrasse Tyson said that you can't even see the curvature of the Earth from 127,000 feet? So would you say that he was wrong on that, or what would you say?
He was wrong.
He was wrong? Well, wouldn't he be more believable than you because he's in all these scientific documentaries, right?
I don't
Of
believe he
course.
said that.
I mean, you can, let's say for instance, if you go on YouTube and find where he was doing an interview speech about the Red Bull jump in 2012, right, by this dude named Felix Bob Gardner. There's a part of the interview where he talks about this and said, hey, look, he didn't see the curvature of the Earth from that altitude, from 127,000 feet. That's flat at that level. That's what he said. You can look up the interview on YouTube. There's a part in it, and it's an hour long, right? So take a while to find the clip, but if you watch it, there's a part in there where he says this. I've seen it multiple times, but again, I'm just giving this example to show that even some of the most respected scientists in the world, that they would disagree with some of these statements about it. You've seen it from like the beach or an airplane window. A lot of these guys would disagree with it.
No, you can see the curvature. You can see it from East Taos, Michigan to the Canadian side. You see the tops of the wind turbines 78 miles away.
Well,
You can notice
according
it
to Globe
too.
Math, they
You can
should
notice
be
it at 60,000 feet in an airplane. Easy.
60,000.
Yeah.
Wait, what airplane are you going in at 60,000?
The MiG 29.
Is that like some type of military?
Yeah, military.
Okay. Yeah, I know the fighter jets, they fly at like what, 70,000?
No,
Around that
some
area?
of them, for a while, yeah. But there's tons of photos out of all sorts of different kinds
but
of planes.
okay, but here's the problem with that. Do you know who Robert Simmons is? And you'll see why I'm bringing him up.
No.
Okay.
I know Richard Simmons.
He worked for NASA and created the 2002 Blue Marble photograph, quote unquote. And he said in an interview that it is photoshopped, and he described how he colored the globe and how he pictured it would be by stitching together some panoramic stills they got back from a satellite. Right. So he says that it was photoshopped. You can look up the interview on the internet with this guy that literally worked for him. And then we've also, if you look at some of these images and you pay attention to the clouds, we've called on multiple images that the clouds have been duplicated and pasted on to different images. And again, I can literally send a video that shows this. You can literally look around and find examples of this, that the clouds were copied and pasted onto multiple different pictures. So again, there's certainly some flaws with these supposed photographs that we're seeing, especially today.
Yeah, but there's
You can
lots
literally fake
there aren't
anything.
flaws.
There's lots of them too. I mean, we have so many satellites. How do you explain the satellites? Where do they go? Do they go under the Earth for a while?
Well, no, the satellites, I believe in satellites, but they're on high altitude balloons. say for instance, did you know that NASA, they consume the most helium out of any other corporation in the world? The helium, they use it for these satellites to send them up into the high atmosphere above the Earth on high altitude weather balloons. In fact, a few years ago, I believe it was like 2018 or 2019, one of these satellites crash landed in Brazil, and it still had the popped balloon attached to it when it crash landed. Like the
Yeah,
balloon
but
popped.
Hey, I got a
majority of the
question.
satellites go up in rockets. They're
Sorry,
shot up
I
by
didn't hear that.
rockets. I mean, rockets are shot up every hour, I think, in California now. With
Rockets shot up at every hour. I don't. What do you mean rockets? Like little schoolyard rockets, or like
no
multi-million-dollar rockets?
launching satellites into the atmosphere, into the orbit of the Earth.
Again, I don't disagree that there are satellites up in the high atmosphere, but that doesn't prove that
I
the
got a
world is a
question.
spinning globe.
Go ahead.
Do you believe do you believe there's oxygen in outer space?
Oxygen in outer space, well, according to what I learned in school, they would say no.
All right. Well, then how would the balloons full of helium not pop that high up
Well,
in the
it's
air
simple.
if it's in a vacuum?
Again, if you listen to what
Because
I said high Earth orbit. I didn't say that they're going into this outer space and circling in zero gravity. I don't believe that, but they're high up in the atmosphere above the Earth. So they're floating
okay,
up there on these balloons, but they're not out floating around in this outer space. That part I don't believe. But I'm not going to
but
sit here and say I'm not going to sit here and say that satellites don't exist. I see other people do that, and I just find that to not be true because there's much evidence they do exist. They would just disagree as to like what level they're at up there. That would be the disagreement.
Is there a
okay,
lot of people like you that believe that the world is flat?
Say that again. I didn't hear you.
Are there a lot of people like you that believe the world is flat?
I mean, they've been talking about it since like 2014, 2016, 2015 on the internet. So it's been about 10 years that this has been on the internet, man. So I would say that confidently that there's at least 1 million people around the world, if not more, who are believing this. And in fact, there's an app out there. I believe it's called the Flat Earth, Sun, Moon, and Zodiac clock app or something like that. And it literally shows like the amount of people who download it and confirm that they believe the Earth's flat. There's literally just on that app alone, they have like 200,000 people just in the United States who said they believe in it. So there's definitely a lot of people, but it's growing every day.
And again, people believe in Bigfoot too.
Right. I don't disagree with that. Hell, like say for
do you believe
instance,
in Bigfoot?
Do you believe in Bigfoot?
do I believe? Well, I wouldn't say that I believe in like the ones that they show on the TV, right? But I do believe that there's like some undiscovered like ape creature that might be able to walk upright on back legs. I don't see why that would be impossible. So in a way, I could say yes, that I do believe there's some monkey species that's like undiscovered. But
Interesting.
as far as calling it Bigfoot, I mean, I think a lot of people just put that on just to say it. They like captured it on tape to get video views on YouTube or something like that.
Okay. So an airplane takes off in Detroit.
And before you finish, just want to give a heads up. I only have like 10 minutes left because
Oh.
I have my own stream scheduled, so I do have to
Okay.
get to that. But
All
I
right.
got 10 more minutes.
Okay, so you get on an airplane and you fly half around the world. You take off and you fly in a direction until you get from the North Pole to the South Pole. You get out of the airplane, what do you see?
What do you see? Are you asking like about?
Yeah,
say
I
for
mean, the
instance,
plane left the North Pole and
Right.
flew to the South, and you land. And how did you get there? Because
How'd
it
you
was
get there?
flat?
Well, you would just travel in the plane to get there. Matter of fact, I'll say this. This dude I listen to on YouTube which he's wrong on some things he says, but he does a good job answering as far as like the locations and maps. He done all this math on it. His name is David Weiss. You can look him up on YouTube. Channel name is Durf. And there's even a book he uses. I believe it's called 16 Emergency Landings. that prove the flat Earth, and they show 16 examples of how the planes, they were heading in a direction, then due to some type of emergency, somebody might have got sick, died, had a baby or something, had to make an emergency landing, and they land in countries that would not make sense on a global map. You can look this up, download it for free. 16 emergency landings that prove flat Earth, and it gets into some of that stuff you're asking. But as far as the ins and outs of it, I will admit that I'm not an expert as far as dealing with all of the travels, right? I have not spent a lot of time studying all that stuff, so
The
I would
scientific stuff.
recommend contacting that dude who's done a lot more research on that particular stance on it.
Oh, okay. Well, we definitely appreciate your input.
Yeah, interesting.
Yeah, it was interesting to hear. Thanks for sharing.
Yeah,
I mean,
you're
you don't
welcome.
sound crazy.
Right. And notice again, I have an answer to a vast majority of the questions that people ask, but then I asked earlier to the panel, right? Anybody could have answered some very basics about the globe, and nobody really seemed to know. So I'm just showing that a lot of people who believe in the globe don't really know even the very basics about the globe. And, we flat
No, but
earthers
the
know those
question
basics.
you asked that we didn't know is how far we were away from the sun. A lot of people don't know that.
Well, okay, I'll give you another one.
Yeah, please do.
How the Earth? How fast is the Earth rotating around the sun each day?
24 hour. Well, it's 360 for the year around the sun, but for daylight and darkness per day, 24 hours.
Let me reiterate myself. I think I said it wrong. Like, as far as the speed, how fast is the Earth traveling and around the sun? Because we know, according to the math, it goes around the sun once. What is it, like a year? It completely does a lap around the sun.
Yeah.
So, like I'm saying, like, what is the speed per hours it's going around
Yeah, I don't
the
know
sun?
that. I
This
don't
is
know.
Why?
just so you know.
why
Just so you know, it's 66,000 miles an hour, according to the school textbook.
yeah, sounds right.
Again,
I
I
know
don't
it was
believe that, but
fast, but
that's what they say.
I didn't really know. So if it's going that fast, you're wondering how they stretched it to 24 hours.
Well, no, I was just simply asking if anybody knew how fast it was going, because that's one of the basics of the heliocentric model that we were taught in like 7th grade school textbook. That's why I was asking.
Oh, okay. All right.
Oh, well, let's give an easy one. How far, like, what is the mile per hour that the Earth is spinning in just 24 hours? Does anybody know that one?
No. But you're this is like you're asking like questions
Numbers.
set us up that we don't know anything about the earth. I mean,
Again,
you
I
could
didn't
ask
say
us anything.
Again, I didn't say that you didn't know anything about it, but I'm showing.
1,037 miles per hour.
Say that again. I didn't hear.
It's 1,037 miles per hour.
Correct. Did you look that up on Google, or did you know that off the top of the head?
I looked it up on Google.
All right, exactly.
Per hour.
Correct. Did you look that up on Google, or did you know that off the top of the head?
I looked it up on Google.
All right, exactly.
So Google's
Hey, but
full of
now you
shit,
know the answer,
too.
though, right?
So
Yep.
if Google's full of shit, then we're really in trouble.
Well, of course, Google's full of shit. It doesn't mean everything they're saying is wrong, but a lot of it should be taken with a grain of salt. I'd say they're right on a decent amount, they say, but there's certainly some things on there that are a little bit fishy. And it's, of course, ran by the U.S. government. So, I mean, obviously, we wouldn't believe anything that the government just says on face value, because they have reason to lie to people for their own gain. I think we could all agree to that, regardless of our
I don't think
religion
it's
or
being
view.
run by the U.S. government.
I mean, hell, if that's what you want to say, man, you can say that.
I think it's being run by 3 Jews.
I mean, hell, well, now we're getting into conspiracy talk.
No, they're the owners. I mean, I do think the government has an influence in relationship through, national security and whatever.
Right.
I don't think the government is in any way
Yeah.
behind Google. Maybe now more, but certainly not through the Trump administration. He hated fucking Google. and he'd have fucked them any way possible.
Okay. You know who owns YouTube, right?
Yeah, Google.
All right.
Where
You're
you
right
going?
on that.
No, where are you getting at?
Shit, I don't even know, man. You're the one that's going on the tangent about, Google and about
No, I
all
just
the.
told you I don't think the government owns it. I mean, I think I know who owns it.
All right. I
And,
mean, hey, you're welcome to that viewpoint.
but I mean, when
That's
you
fine.
determine ownership of something, what's your source?
Whereas my source, well, say for instance, there's certain things that have been happening in the last couple of years that they say you're not really. Well, once again, I said I don't want the stream to get taken down, so I can't
No, but give
mention
me,
words.
but not the two that they hang their hat on. There must be more. I mean, I do think there's censoring, but radio doesn't let you play whatever you want. TV doesn't allow you to show it either. So I think
Well,
that's
I'll
just
give you an example. I'll use myself as an example. If you would have went on my page 2 years ago, my live streams would get 400 plus views. Now I only get 60 views on the live stream. My videos used to get a few hundred views. Now I'll be lucky if I get 50 views. It's clear that they're manipulating the video views and the likes. Say, for instance, if I go on YouTube and click on a video, it'll say I have 5 likes. If I go to my YouTube app, it might say I have 2 likes. It might say I have 30 views. I go on YouTube, it says I have 46 views. So it shows that they're manipulating and playing around with it. And I've even seen a few other people that are, church related. They've done videos and then YouTube deliberately puts a thumbnail on the video of like little children shows or stuff like that. It's like, what the hell? How the hell did this random thing pop up on the thumbnail of my video or their video if it's literally nothing related to it and we didn't put it up there? So it shows that they're in some ways manipulating and playing around with it. I don't think that's deniable.
no. I agree with you.
I agree. Definitely.
Facebook too.
Right.
Also true.
Speaking of Facebook, recently they actually celebrated their 20th year. It's like, damn, I didn't know that Facebook been around for 20 years. It's like,
No,
damn,
everything's
long
like
time.
that now, though. Every day.
Believe it or not, even YouTube's about to be 20 years old. It came out in 2005.
They bought it early on, though.
Yeah, that's true. That is true. But I'm saying which first of all, YouTube started out as a dating website, but then they scrapped the idea and decided to just do like a video posting website. But I'm saying it's been just about 20 years now that the website has existed.
Okay.
And real quick for the people tuning in, when I hop off here, I got to do my own streams. If anybody later wants to stop by, you're welcome to stop by. I'll be taking questions. Might even put a link in the chat for people.
Yeah, put
to
a link.
join.
Somebody posted your link earlier. Could somebody
Yeah.
post this
So
guy's
everybody
link?
stop by if you want. We can
Post these
have a
guys' link
conversation.
again.
Sounds good.
Stephanie
Thank
wanted
you.
me to tell you before you're signed off, you're full of shit.
I mean, hey, she's welcome to say that. I take no offense. But notice when we talk about factual information, she would rather hide and not have a conversation.
Yeah, I know it.
Whereas I can sit here and have a conversation. Should everybody take that to note?
I
Notice I'm
know,
not
you're
running
so
anything.
smart, honey. I know.
She
I've
Googles
just been
everything.
enjoying it.
Plus, she Googles everything.
Yeah.
And keep in mind, I never said that I had all the answers, right? I never said that I had all the answers.
Yeah.
Yeah, well,
We're always
and
learning.
it's rude to advertise your live stream when you're on someone else's live stream also.
Has he not advertised my
I
channel?
do
with the
know
live
about
stream?
manners.
Has the host put my link down there for people and has been showing it all night? He has. So I don't think I'm the one advertising. I simply said if anybody likes what they're hearing and wants to ask a question, they're welcome to do that. I don't get why that's like the end of the world there. You know what I'm saying?
No, you started off wrong by saying the Earth wasn't round.
I mean, again, that's a discussion that everybody can disagree or agree on.
No,
it's
but at least
interesting conversation.
you gave us the answers you believe to be true, and you didn't get shitty, and I'm glad you stopped by.
Right. Again, I think
you don't mind if we porn bomb you about a half hour.
I didn't hear you.
Have you been porn bombed yet?
Oh yeah, absolutely. It's been way worse than that, man. Let me say this: I've been making YouTube videos since I was 14 years old about Bible related stuff, right? So I've been on here a whole number of years, and it got so bad at some point there was even people who hacked into my channel, and they would put say for instance they would take my face and another females that would come on my streams, and they would put our face over a porn image, and then they upload that as one of the thumbnails for the video. So again, it's been a whole much more than just porn bombing. That's the least of my worries at this point in time.
Yeah, got it. Yeah.
Hell, I've
There's,
had, death threats, people put allegations against me. Again, a whole bucket list of nonsense, but porn bombing, that's a drop in the bucket. It's not very significant in today's day and age, through the circumstances I've had to go through. You get what I'm saying?
yeah, I get it. Yeah. All right. Well, stop by anytime.
All right, cool.
They happen to
Thanks
send
for
you a
having me
globe for
on.
Christmas.
Hell, I'll put it right up in my office, man. You might even see it next to me when I do my videos.
All right.
All right, well, y'all have a good night. Thanks for having me on.
Bye bye.
Have a good night.
You too.
See you guys.
You too.
See you guys. This is just because you don't agree with somebody doesn't mean you got to be shitty to them. See how
Exactly.
you have that?
I'm proud of y'all.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
I was surprised, Tom.
Well, he was a nice guy, and I mean, he answered the questions and what he believed to be true. It wasn't like, they need guys like him. He's the first guy that, talked about the earth being flat that didn't sound like a total fucking lunatic 30 seconds into the conversation.
Well, I don't know about that.
Well, that's because, you don't believe what he believes. I mean,
Right.
he came back with some, he didn't get shitty with anybody.
No, he had
I respect
an
that.
explanation for everything.
He did. Yep. He straightened James out about fucking around that Unity Church for a couple years right away.
Yep, he certainly did.
He gives us those goddamn Jew scenarios. Like if you ask him a question, he'll set it up about what you believe first, and then it's all downhill.
Right, yeah.
Yeah, but I don't care. I don't care. Yeah, that's part of it too. The women's supposed to submit to the husband, Christians. It's in the Bible. It is. I'm just the messenger. Yeah, I think he's a pretty good guy. He probably, all the people on there. I believe they censor comments and opinions and change numbers. I believe that too. So good for him. Talk about whatever he wants. I don't care. I wish we had more people like that about, things that you didn't agree with, but you can discuss them in a civil way. We didn't even have to block him just because he believes something different than us. That's hard to do, not to do.
Yeah, I'm proud of you.
Well, thank you. No, but it would be hard, Oh, here he is right here. I will stop by again in the future. Oh, thank you. A host of respectable panel. He complimented me. Yeah, no, if you want to discuss this with people, this is the kind of guy to do it with. I don't believe
Definitely.
it, but he believes it. Mark doesn't believe it. And I'll bet you it probably would be fun to go on there and just see who's on there some night. The Flat Earth. Rita likes it. Yeah. End Time Teacher is the name of it. Yeah. End Time Teacher. Yeah, good for him. James didn't mind him. He didn't agree with it.
No, but I thought it was respectful. Yeah, he was respectful. They didn't get mad. They disagreed.
Yeah.
Like he was civil.
Yeah, James straightened him out about the helium balloons. Better believe he did. He set you up, though, just like a Jew lawyer does in court. Before you really get to the answer in the question, he's already asked you where you learn what you're about to